A win is the win is a win. Locked On Illini. Let's go.
You are Locked On Illini, your daily podcast on the Illinois Fighting Illini. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to a nerve-wracking live rendition of the post-game. Illinois defeats Purdue in overtime. What was it, 50-49 or something like that? I'm so disorganized at this point just watching this game. If you're here for the first time, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get that maintenance out of the way. I already see the comment section is on fire. Let me know what you think of the game. Let me know where you watched this game. I'm going to get to all these comments in a little bit. I don't think a lot of you are going to like what I'm going to say, but as long as I believe it, right? As long as I believe it. It's college football. College football is a very tough game. Ask Alabama. Alabama squeezed out with a very close victory over South Carolina today. This is the type of game that the Illinois football program has been losing for the past decade. And tell me I'm wrong. We all thought it. As soon as the score was like 27-17, we all got worried. That sense of dread. Everything got heavy because, it's happening. Oh, no, it's happening. Even when Illinois would score and Purdue would come right back and score. We all had a sense of dread. And then ultimately, Purdue comes back and takes the lead by 3 points with, 56 seconds left? This was a game that Illinois should have lost. Now, I'm not talking about pregame. Of course, I get it. This game should not have been that close. But you know what? College football is weird. And more than that, rivalry games are weird. And these two programs are rivals. So I should have known better. I know I was also one that called for a blowout. And as basically many people did, in particular when Hudson Card went out. But it's a rivalry game. You just never know. You just never know. Let's see what you guys are saying before I really get started. Okay, Tundra said, fire Aaron Henry. And sure, okay. This was the August second half, I believe you're talking about. I think we gave up like 40 points in that second half. And again, I'll get to this, the rest of the comments in a little bit. Let me know what you keep thinking, though. Let me know. And while you're here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. The vibes are good. I know people are upset right now. But just remember, Illinois football always has a stinker. Usually, it's every game. In our past history, it's been every game that we've struggled. We've just been a bad football team. And we end up losing. Even at being 4-1 right now, in my predictions and whatnot, I always said, hey, we can lose a game that we're not supposed. Yeah, we can lose a game that we're not supposed to lose. And I'm not going to lie. Halfway through that third quarter, I started to dread the feeling that this was going to be that game. It happens to everybody, Illinois included. And as the game got closer to the end, I'm like, oh no, here we go. Purdue was making play after play. Who is this Purdue quarterback? And why hasn't he been starting? I know my mentions was talking about it all over Twitter. By the way, find me at the Sunny V, at IlliniCast, all that fun stuff. We turn every no-name quarterback. If the best strategy against an Illinois defense is to send out a quarterback that we have never scouted. Because we make them look like Johnny Manziel, because that's what this Brown kid looked like today. In that third quarter, again, it was a couple fluke plays. I still think we were the better team for the most part, but in that third quarter, a couple fluke plays puts 10, 14 points on the board immediately for Purdue. And then Brown just got confident, and you could see it. We could not stop the rush. This is by far the worst half defensively we've had all season long. By all metrics, this should have been a loss. I feel like you guys aren't going to like what I'm saying. So let's just catch up to the comments real quick. Okay. Malcolm, you're the one who called it out, I think, in the previous video. You said that we would turn this no-name quarterback into Joe Montana. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, second comment. Caitlin said, you gave up 40 points and a half. Pathetic. Fire Henry kept getting burned because we can't cover a trick play or a rushing quarterback. Illinois is 5-1 right now. And for me, it was plenty obvious halfway through that we only opened up and maybe a certain percentage of our playbook. We kept running the same plays over and over again. It was working in the first half. By the way, no, I'll get to that later. It was working in the first half. But Purdue, and the ball sometimes just bounces in. We got the onside kick in the first half, bounced our way, and then the game of football, the football gods kind of returned the favor for Purdue at the end. I know we're all upset, and we should be upset. Tell me how upset you guys are. Slam that like button. Hit that subscribe button while you're here. Let's celebrate and hit 1,300 subs this episode. But this was a game I've grown up watching Illini football, and we always lose this game. Right now, I don't care that the spread was 22 points. That doesn't matter to me. The fact that we ended up escaping, when Purdue scored that touchdown in overtime, we all knew they were going to go for 2. I put my phone down. I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to go live after this? After this gut punch? Then what happens? Rosiak calls out, points at the running back to make it look like he's going to be shadowing the running back. Instead, the ball's hiked, and he guns straight after Brown. Makes the game-winning sack. Illinois wins. I don't care that we all predicted a 3-touchdown victory. All of that is thrown out the window right now. All the credit in the world to Luke Altmaier. Luke Altmaier refused to let us lose this game today. Would he have 3 touchdowns? I haven't even pulled up the box score at this point. Altmaier passed 379 yards, 3 touchdowns, and ran for 60 yards and a touchdown. One drive was essentially him. I think he rushed for 72 yards of a 75-yard touchdown drive. We have a quarterback that today wouldn't let us lose that game. And without Luke, we wouldn't have won that game. We still have issues with the running back room. And by the way, I know I tweeted at this earlier. Some of you are going to be paying attention to this press conference. Let's hear what Brett Bielema has to say about this Caden Fagan situation. I'm going to be kind of vague about that. Premium members, some of you, you know what I'm referring to. And if you don't, there's a subtext link. That's the only way I can share it, just because it's kind of still a rumor. Throw Disher in that firing. How do you screw up an onside kick that bad? Owen says, you have to respect Purdue went for 2. Our defense stepped up just like the Nebraska game. Thank God. Exactly, Owen. Our defense, spoiler alert, on Tuesday's episode, when I do the positional grades, pretty much every single defensive unit, and especially Aaron Henry, is going to get a big fat F. We turned Brown into Johnny Manziel. Someone mentioned that in one of the chats, and it's like the perfect comparison. And this is the important point right here. Thank you, Marcellus. 5-1. It ain't pretty. Doesn't matter. Beat Michigan. 5-1 is 5-1. This game happens every single year. We lose, and right now we're 2-4. Jason says Michigan is going to rush for 500 yards against this defense. Maybe. Who knows? Am I less confident? Probably. But you know what? Jason, I don't know. I still think next week Michigan's probably going to be a stronger favorite now. You're talking about probably a close to a touchdown favorite. Philip says trap game escaped. I don't know if it's a trap game. I don't know. I think with the rivalry built in and the history between Ryan Walters, Brett Bielema, I think this is certainly a game that we were focused in on. I said this, that outside, when it came to the out of conference schedule, Kansas was our most important game, but I genuinely believe that Purdue was the most important conference game that we had this year, just because of our recent history with them. The fact the trophy matters, the fact that we haven't beaten them in Champaign since 2010, I think someone in my chat mentioned. A victory is a victory. Again, throw out the 22.5 spread, because you know what? Spreads don't matter in football. Who knows what the spread in that Vanderbilt-Alabama game was last week? Who knows what the spread in this Alabama-South Carolina game was earlier today? Does anyone? No. Once the game starts, who cares? It's a football game being played on the field, and that's all that matters. Jason says, gave up over 500 in Grammer's first start and just gave up over 500 to Brown. Yeah, I'm telling you, like, the scouting report's out. If you're playing Illinois, throw out a quarterback that no one's ever heard of, and he's going to throw for $400 or $500 or 4 yards. TM says, Brett should almost be fired for that ish. A win is a win is a win. Malcolm says, we're a lower top 25 team. We're not a top 10 team, lower top 20. Thank you, Malcolm. That's kind of where I'm at. We are a good, not great team. Guess what? Illinois right now is now 5-1. One more victory, and Illinois has surpassed their Vegas total for over-under, which was 5.5. We are sitting here venting, upset. Again, please let me know what you mean, what you feel in the chat, because I know it's getting ugly in there. But look what we're pissed off about. Look what we're upset over. We're upset over the fact that we almost lost a game, when in fact we won, and we're sitting here at 5-1. How many of you thought we were going to be 5-1 after 6 games this year? I'm considered an optimist when it comes to football. I did not have us at 5-1. We have a game against Michigan next Saturday, which it looks, I don't think it's going to be a pretty game, but I'm not going to say that we don't have a chance of winning. Philip says, this game should light a fire under this team to play better. Now, a lot of you guys are Illini fans, right? It's in particular football fans. There's 64 of you here. Thank you guys so much for joining me. You guys know exactly what I'm about to talk about. Brett Bielema last year said that when he took over this Illinois football program, it was his job that when the game got tight at the end, we only knew of one way, and that was to lose the game. What he had to do was take that program and switch that mentality to the point where we would come out victorious, that they felt like we were going to win this game. That happened against Kansas. And guess what? That happened today. All of us watching this game, I'm guessing a good percentage of the people watching the game at Memorial Stadium thought that this game was about to be an embarrassment. My text messages were blown up. Keep in mind, I do this semi-professionally now, right? And so, but I also have a lot of Big Ten contacts, and everyone's asking me, what's happening? What's going on? What is this? It's college football. Brett Bielema said that it was his responsibility to change the mindset of the team so that when things got tight at the end, they'd come out victorious. To finish my thought from earlier, the crowd thought we were going to lose. You and I, don't lie to me, we all thought we were going to lose. You know who I don't think thought they were going to lose that game? Those players on the field. And that continues to be one of the reasons we just continue to be successful. No one gave us a chance against Penn State. We were within 7 with 2 minutes left. Today, up 24-3. Then all of a sudden being down, what was it, 43-40, something like that, with 50 seconds left. I was dreading it. I did not want to come on and do the show. I would have toughed something out and been done with after 8 minutes. Jason says, it was ugly, but the offense showed up. It's hard to game plan on a quarterback that we know nothing about. 100%. I'm curious to see. I mean, I know it's a short game for Purdue, a short week. Sorry, they're playing Oregon on Friday. Do they just run back with Brown? I feel like you need to. Jason, yeah, this one stings too. And the fact that Walters was calling the offense is worse, there's no spinning a positive on that one. Bill says we tried to give the game away, and we do. This happens, but we're upset now because we won a game and we're now 5-1. That feels good. I'm going to look, once I watch the game over again tomorrow, there's going to be plenty to be upset about. But you know what? Even before I did this show, I would watch that game and we would have lost the game and I would have been sulking for a couple days wondering, here we go again. Season over. TM says the defensive line up the middle is weak against the run. Yeah, I was hoping we would have fixed that over the bye week, but it does not look like anything's been changed whatsoever. Gregory, my good friend, is it weird that this win doesn't feel the best? It's weird, but I think that's a good thing in the sense we've reached a different place. Normally, we would have a loss that would be a gut punch. This one is the win that we're all complaining about. And don't get me wrong, I don't blame you guys for complaining. It's one of those where I feel if you had told me before the game started that we would win in a 1-point game over Purdue that would have gone to overtime, none of us would have taken. All of us would be very upset. And a lot of us would be having the reaction you guys are having right now in the chat, which, again, I don't blame you guys. But college football is weird, and weird things happen, and weirder things happen in rivalry games. Purdue has had our number, and we all had that sinking feeling that we would have had to deal with this feeling for another year. And we would have had to go on through one more year of circling that Purdue game and be like, we got to pull it off. Now it's in West Lafayette. We have to win. This is a must win. This is a huge monkey off our back. I saw the post game where Pat Bryant's carrying that Cannon trophy. It matters. It matters to the players. I'm going to get back to your comments in just a second. All right. We got a great kicker. Oh my gosh, you guys are going crazy. All right, let's do this. Malcolm says, call me crazy. Never doubted they would beat the 2-point conversion, but I absolutely think Ryan made a right call to win the game. Exactly. No, the way Purdue was playing, in particular in that second half, Ryan Walters made the right call. I knew it. I said it before. Here comes a 2-point conversion. The fact that our defense made a play matters. Aaron Henry got humiliated by Ryan Walters calling plays. Yeah, that was gross. A win is a win, but that was embarrassing. That's fine, but you know what? 5-1 is a lot better than 4-2. And 5-1 is not embarrassing. And 5-1, we as Illinois fans, we need to be positive about things. Because again, Illinois football, we all knew it. We were going to have bad games. We just thought maybe some of us that bad game would show up against a Michigan State down the road or a Rutgers. A lot of us maybe took Purdue for granted. Hand up. Me being one of them. But we just watched one heck of a game. That was fun. That was a fun football game. I wish I wasn't an Illinois fan. I would have had a lot more fun watching this game. Illinois was exposed. I don't know, Tim. We've had a good defense pretty much all year long, right? Against a Penn State team that just beat USC in another classic, which I had on my second screen. Again, we're down 1 touchdown with 2 minutes left. I don't think this is one of those games where we have anything to be worried about being exposed. But I just think it was a bad football game. Aaron says, Fox River says, Aaron Henry is never allowed to call plays against his former boss again. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, and I mean this respectfully, Ryan Walters, I got nothing against you. I appreciate what you did 2 years ago, but I'm not going to be the saddest guy in the world if I never have to see you on the opposing sideline ever again. We should have had a pick twice. We are 5-1, beat Michigan, and all is well. Exactly right, Marcellus. Gregory says, Illinois took their foot off the gas pedal. Hopefully they learned something today. I think they learned something today. And I think we learned something today, that it isn't over and just because things aren't looking good. This isn't past Illinois teams. This isn't what we've grown accustomed to watching. This team is different. Gregory, appreciate you with the $5 super chat. Playing as an underdog again next week is good. This team feeds off disrespect. 100%. I agree. I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me or not, but I really feel like we were being very conservative with this play calling today. A lot of it was just a classic RPO or run Luke to the side, have him throw the ball. I think we knew how important the next 2 weeks games were. The problem is that third quarter when Purdue got that those back-to-back scores real quick, all of a sudden shifted the momentum entirely. And then football happened. And then balls bounced a certain way. All right, we got to that one. This win feels like a loss, troubling. I respect that you feel that way, Jose. I'm just not there. For me, I thought maybe it's because for the last hour and a half, I sat there on my couch, this couch right behind me, watching this game, thinking we're about to lose. I felt like the game wasn't even over and Illinois was winning. I felt like we had lost. The fact that all of a sudden we escaped with the victory, and in what a way. Overtime, they go for two. As soon as they lined up for two, I knew they would. I'm like, oh, here we go. This is how it's going to happen. This is how we're going to lose. And I got to come in front of you guys and pretend like this loss doesn't hurt. Czar says Bryant was huge too. I am so glad to be so wrong about a wide receiver. Not wrong. I just wasn't sure if he was going to be ready to step up to the level that we needed to be that ace number one wide receiver. And he 100% has. And same with Zachary Franklin. That one catch he had in the first half where he was really never open, but Luke trusted Zachary, threw it to a spot. You see how important Zachary is to this program, where it's almost like a safety blanket for Luke. Phil says Luke did play his you-know-what off. Gregory, Luke is the man. Olano is a winner. Save the game. Absolutely. I mean, the nerves of a freshman, I guess now he's a sophomore, kicker coming in that spot. But again, what about the play right before? You're down 43-40, 50 seconds left. Luke Altmaier, what is he? He trusts Pat Bryant. One-on-one coverage. Pat, I'm throwing it to you. What'd Pat do? He got up and he got it. A lot of Luke love. Czar says, was he suspended? Thought he was injured. Again, I'm not watching the press conference, so I'm not going to comment on it. Just let's hear what Brett Bielema says. I've heard a couple of things. I hope everything's okay. You guys let me know if you guys are watching that. I'll talk about it maybe more in depth tomorrow. I don't trust Luke. Somewhere down the road, he's going to implode. Damn, how can you still believe that? I don't remember the last time we've had a quarterback of this caliber that, like I just crossed it. I like Tommy DeVito, but Tommy DeVito couldn't throw more than 10, 15 yards. Luke, he had one play, obviously, where he just held on to the ball too long and had that strip sack, which led to the Purdue touchdown. But this guy's making good decisions, and he can win the game with his arm and his legs. He was our offense today. You went for 4th down instead of taking 3 in the 3rd, and you go for 2 instead of taking the 1 on a very long conversion try. So, Jason, I know I saw you saying that earlier, and I get what you're saying, but I think I understand what Brett was trying to do too. We were at the 30-ish yard line, and I think the point was if he kicked the field goal, it was still going to be a 2-possession game. I think what Brett was trying to do, Purdue had all the momentum at that point. What Brett was trying to do was steal some of that momentum back. That if they had converted there, all of a sudden they're able to milk out more clock and hopefully score a touchdown and basically pop the balloon of Purdue's momentum that they had going on. On the final throw of regular, it should have been a pass. Philip, I saw the same thing. Malik Elzy. Interesting question. 2 seconds, ball on the 2, down 3. Do you go for a tie or a win? I go for a win. No, I changed my mind. You're at home. I take the tie. The game's just too important. William says, I've given Luke Altmaier all kinds of grief for lack of points to win in the Big Ten, but he passed my test making this. We won because of Luke Altmaier today. Certainly not our defense. Our defense did everything that they could to lose this game. Luke is historically great for Illini quarterbacks. His rating, completion rate, everything is rated high. And guess what? We should have him again back next year. And it's because of that we're able to, I feel good about our team returning next year. We had an extra week to prepare at home. This is disappointing. Totally out-coached. It may not have been a track game, but it certainly was an escape. Christopher, I agree with that. How we got lucky. I don't know. Was it lucky, though? Because that first half, it was 24-3. Purdue was running circles around us in the end. I just think that a team that is learning how to win in the clutch, when the game is at the end, when the game matters, they did what they're coached to do. The coaching staff is instilling a certain level of confidence into this team. And you saw it on the field today, even when things weren't going well. You don't think there was a sense of panic? I know there was in that stadium. And by the way, if you were at the stadium, let me know. When they recovered that 2-point or the onside kick, we all knew what was going to happen. We all knew what was going to happen. Kyle says, could we compare Luke to Juice or is it too soon? Jason said, let's look at QB. We got a good one, and Bryant is a pro, no question. We have 2 pro wide receivers. We could have 3. Guys, every single time you see one of our highlight plays where it's a wide receiver catching this ball or a running back gunning it down the field for a touchdown, take a look at the excellent blocking that the other wide receivers have. A lot of other Big Ten teams don't do that necessarily. They're not coached as well as we are. And this is something that I've been able to see from the All-22 that I've been watching. The entire team plays selflessly. Even if they don't get the ball, they know who they're supposed to block and where to. And that's one of the main reasons we are so successful, at least offensively. Philip says, everyone outside Champaign will forget that Illinois barely beat Purdue in a couple weeks. Exactly. All that matters is we now have 5 victories. We are 1 victory away from being bowl eligible. We have the ability to become bowl eligible against the national champions next week at home. And guess what? If we had lost this game, a lot of the energy from Memorial Stadium would have been lost for next week. I know it's a sellout, but a 4-2, probably out of the top 25 Illinois, would not generate the same amount of excitement that what we're about to have. 2 top 25, maybe top 20 teams go at it. 100-year anniversary, the Red Grange game. The atmosphere is going to be buzzing, and the team's going to need it. Next Saturday can be a very special day. 2:30. It's on national television. Everyone's going to be watching it. And again, I'll get to it later this week, but I genuinely do think that might be why we just held back so much. I just feel like we were being very conservative with the play calling, and then we just didn't expect what happened in the third quarter to have happened and the momentum to completely go in the other direction. Good luck getting to a bowl game. Looks like another epic collapse is due to the crash. Stop making excuse for this absolute stinker. Time to return to reality. William, if that's what you believe, that's fine. I'm not going to hate on you. But I've watched this game plenty of times before, and this team would be 1-5, 2-4, it's 3-3, and we would have lost that game. For the last, I'm trying to count, the last 3 Lovey years, right? We would have lost that game. We're in year 4 with Bret Bielema, and this is the first year now, this season, that we're starting to turn the corner. We did it against Kansas, and we did it today. A stinker of a game. A very bad football game. And we won. How many years would us Illini fans have killed to be a decent lower top 25 team? Philip, thank you. You're getting my point. Like, this is actually a good feeling that we're upset about this, right? That we're upset about victories now. Usually we're all sitting here complaining about a loss. Jay says, not kicking the extra point and going for the 2-point conversion at 30-yard lines was baffling to say the least. Bielema coaching decisions sometimes confuse and piss me off. Yeah. My thinking is, again, if it's 12 or 13, it doesn't matter, right? The whole point is, because it's still 2 touchdowns. If Bret, again, in hindsight, it was the wrong decision. But I think what he's thinking is Purdue needs 2 touchdowns anyway. If he goes for 2 and they convert, it's a 14-point game. And they need to kick that extra point to win. Again, hindsight proved different. And yeah, he should have just taken any points that we could have gotten. Before the season, the fan base was told we would be 5-1, they would be ecstatic. We're a 5-1 team. I'm not going to say, laugh all you want that I'm going to say this. And again, I'm laughing just thinking about this. We have an outside shot at this college football playoff that I keep talking about. Beat Michigan. Penn State won another very impressive game against USC today. Penn State's not going to lose to anybody on their schedule except for Ohio State. There's a chance that Illinois, again, after Oregon, is going to be favored in every single game from here on out. And there's that slight window of 10-2. By the way, 63 of you in here, hit that like button while you're here. Let's all celebrate. Let's all collectively celebrate that we're upset over a close win. Cost you guys nothing. It's going to send this out to other Illini fans. Let's continue to grow this channel. I do this every single day just for you guys. Steve says, go Illini. Makes this old man happy. You and I both, sir. Jason says, what am I missing with Fagan? Hopefully, we'll find out with Bret very, very soon. 2-point try was almost caused Alabama the game. Yeah. Philip says, Illinois is 8-3 in one-score games the last 2 years. We're turning the corner. Bret talked about that. I need to get this team away from the mentality that we keep it close and then we lose, and to the point where we think we're going to win games. And I think that locker room believes that they're going to win that game. School Stuff says, wait, Walters called the offense. I thought he was making suggestions to the offensive coordinator. No, so it was reported by a couple of the writers before the game started and then confirmed by Purdue radio that Ryan Walters was actually the guy calling the offensive plays, which I know some of you may not have known that and makes you all the more frustrated, and I totally get it. Jay, you bring up a fantastic point. This was the talk of my entire group chat. The last quarter, I seen so many plays where Purdue's line was holding, yet no calls by the ref. I've been explaining a couple of these Bret Bielema decisions at the end of the game, whether to kick or go for it. This one I did not understand. I'm with you, Jay. How are you not expecting an onside kick? Looked that way to me. Did I miss something? I thought it was painfully obvious. Keep typing 5-1 in the chat, Marcellus. That's what people need to be reminded of. 5-1. Illinois football is 5-1. And we've had a tough schedule. All the linebacker recruits at the game should see nothing but opportunities to play quickly. This was a defensive bad game. We are better than this. I completely agree with Jose. And I don't even want to look at the all-22 on the defensive side again. This is going to be bad. Relax. Jason says, you guys are saying fire Coach B. Crack me up. We are 5-1, beat Nebraska. Big win. Kansas is struggling. I get it. But still, we didn't know that at the time. It was still a big victory to almost a sense of redemption from last year's game. Sometimes games are ugly. Just saying we pulled out 2 overtime games. Move on to the next one. You think Penn State is upset that they only beat Illinois by 2 touchdowns? Do you think they even remember? Not 2. They were only up by a touchdown with 2 minutes left. Do you think they remember at this point? They don't. Purdue is bad. But you know what? Purdue was bad under Hudson Card. They figured something out here with this quarterback. You know, maybe they didn't figure anything out here. They simply just figured out that throw something out there Illinois has never seen. James says, Penn State gashed us up the middle. We had 2 weeks to fix that and prepare and run. The defense was even worse. That was pass interference on Purdue on the last pass to Bryant in the end zone. James, I completely agree with you. I just don't know if we have the personnel at this point to fix it. I have no other explanation. But, yeah, you're right. It was pass interference on the last play. It was to Elsie, though. It wasn't to Bryant. The offense wasn't the problem. Tundra says, Sunny, you're awesome. I love your breakdowns, but you're coping. I might be. But it's just I've got a couple decades worth of being a college football fan, an Illinois college football fan. And I'm telling you, from what I felt halfway through that third quarter till the whistle blew, I had a sinking feeling in my chest. And that's why. Maybe that's why. For an hour and a half, I felt like we had already lost the game. And even though we were still winning on the scoreboard. Illinois QB needs to hold on to the ball better. Throws good, but hold on to the ball. Yeah. I mean, that was one of his weaknesses last year, that he would hold on to the ball almost too long or make an unnecessary play. This year, he's been very good about making the right throw or just taking the sack. And at least on that one strip sack, that was kind of a glimpse to last year. But again, I hold no ill will to Luke Altmaier. That was the Luke Altmaier game. Pat Bryant looks like a future pro, good size and composed and body control. That's touchdown that he had at the end of the game in overtime. The body control. Sante, you nailed it here, sir. If this feels like a loss, then it's a sign of growth in the program. Expectations elevate. That's why I'm sitting here saying I'm not upset at any of you guys for being irate, for being upset. I get it. I'm upset in certain ways. Sure, that's not the game I expected myself to watch. But take a step back, go take a walk, and realize that this is college football. And weird things happen in college football and rivalry games. And a win is a win is a win. Imagine how we would be feeling right now if we'd lost that game. Some of you would be saying, fire Aaron Henry, fire Brett Bielema, and you would mean it. Now 5-1 with a chance to be bowl eligible against the national champions in front of national TV next Saturday. Stacy says, is this an Illini therapy group? It is in some ways, Stacy. If you're new here for the first time, please subscribe. I do this every single day. Let you everydayers, let the people in the chat know. Literally, if I can, I create content 7 days a week, and I only do it because of your guys' support. This is one of the fastest growing channels on the Locked On Network. I mentioned this to you guys before. 3 weeks ago, I had a phone call with some of the higher ups, and they told me that they started this channel during the off season, and they're astounded by the growth, the quick growth of this channel. It's all because of you guys. Illinois fans, we are a passionate bunch. It's clear as day there for basketball. But I genuinely believe it's there for football too, as long as we're given a glimpse of hope. And right now, this football team is. And you can see the passion because, again, look at us. There's no ho-hum. Nobody cares. No, a lot of people are upset here after a victory just because we thought we didn't play as well as we normally should have. James says Pat Bryant will be playing on Sundays. Absolutely agree. I like Luke a lot. He has looked even better though on the move today. I still think his pocket awareness is suspect. Yeah, I mean, I believe it's gotten better, but I get what you're saying. More comments right after this. All right, where are we at? Why did we go for 2 after the penalty? Again, I think the idea was to make it a 2-touchdown game. 13 points, it doesn't matter. There's only 5 minutes left in the game. So Purdue wasn't going to kick field goals at this point. They're going to go for 2 touchdowns. And if you're up 13, it doesn't matter. Whether you're up 12 or 13, it doesn't matter. If Purdue scores 2 touchdowns, they win it with the extra point. Okay, good. All right. So Joe Wagner says Fagan hyperextended his knee and apparently it didn't look good. Brett says he's going to probably be out for a little bit. Okay, well, that's not ideal. Talking to doctors coast to coast. Oh, boy. Gregory says, how was a hit on Altmaier not targeting? I saw that too. I mean, there's bad refereeing. I'm not going to lie. I'll watch the game over again and I'm sure it'll even out on the Purdue and Illinois side. But obviously, I'm watching it from a biased point of view. We had a lot of calls our way not going. In particular, that second half, Purdue was holding the entire half. Refs had a bad game. Could Luke enter the draft? Sorry, I don't think he's good enough for the draft. And you're talking to the Luke Altmaier fan club here. I think most of you guys know. I love Luke Altmaier. I think he's my most enjoyable quarterback. Honestly, since I started watching. Now, you want to know how long I've been watching? The Kurt Kittner years. Okay, I know some of you are way before that. But Kurt Kittner was kind of the generation where I first started really getting into college football, Illinois football. And to me, he's the best. He's my favorite quarterback since then. Just this year, like his growth over the offseason, I was the guy who was defending one of my, I don't know if it was a bold prediction, but I kept telling everyone that he was a top 6 quarterback in the Big Ten. A lot of people have fallen off on Luke Altmaier. 24/7 had him as the 17th best quarterback in the conference. 17th best quarterback. A lot of their opinions were based on that, granted, awful first half against Penn State. But we also, like, if you're here, you are a fan of Illinois football. And we all saw that after maybe the 5th or 6th game, once the coaching staff kind of moved a couple guys around in the offensive line, we figured out the offensive line and Caden Fagan. It was his emergence. Once he had a decent offensive line in front of him and he wasn't running for his life, and he had a rushing game that the defense all of a sudden had to respect, he turned into a very solid quarterback. Unspectacular, but solid. In his last 6 games, he had, I believe it's 10 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. We all know what happened with John Paddock, and that was an amazing story. That's a college football story, right? Throwing for that the last drive, throwing the game winner against Minnesota, and then coming back, starting against Indiana and throwing for a school record. But what that was a hot quarterback. And that's what the staff decided to go with. I don't see it as John Paddock replaced a poorly performing Luke Altmaier. You guys might disagree. Let me know if you disagree. But notice this offseason, the coaching staff didn't go out and try to find a new transfer QB. There's no thought of it. There was no mention of it. They were confident in Luke Altmaier. All right. Let's see. Fagan's out with a hyperextended knee, going to be out for a while. All right. Thank you, Infinity Soul. We avoided a terrible loss. Now let's go get a huge win. We are 5-1. This would have been, and I talked about this on Illini Cast, my other show. By the way, if you're not following me, do a search for Illini Cast on YouTube. That's more long form. I said then, if we somehow lost this game, it would have been the worst loss in the Brett Bielema tenure. And if you don't think those words that I said yesterday were going through my brain this whole second half, Luke and the team will want another year. I just don't think Luke is a NFL. I don't think he has NFL qualities. I don't necessarily know if he's big enough. Like, he might make it as a backup somewhere, and he might make money professionally. But I don't think to the point where I'm worried really that he has NFL aspirations. But not this year. Again, he might go once he's done playing college football. We're going to pay him a good amount of money with NIL. Brett Bielema pays his guys to stay. And so Luke Altmaier is definitely going to make more money next year as a senior starting quarterback for Illinois than I think he would in the draft. Huge win on a huge recruiting weekend. Absolutely. They won't be top 25 after today. Donald, come on. You're not going to drop out after a victory like that. It's a win is a win. Again, should Alabama fall because they barely beat South Carolina? Ryan Walters may call plays on offense and defense right now. Man. See, I don't agree. What do you guys think? Am I being silly here? I don't think there's any way we drop out of top 23. In fact, I think we may jump into the top 20. Advertising a top 20 matchup next week for Saturday on national television, TV networks are going to want that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm being too much of a positive Peter, but I think we're a top 20 team next year. You definitely earned the like, Sunny. You do a great job. Sorry, thank you. I hope I'm saying it right. Sorry. While you're watching here, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're the first time, I'm Sunny, and I do this every single day. Illini content every single day, and I try to do weekends as well. Every single day, I try to give you guys about a half hour about whatever's going on in Illinois sports. I think at this point, we're already the second biggest Illinois channel out there, and we've been here less than 5 months. So I appreciate all of you guys. Brad says, so much for Brown waving goodbye. Yeah, that guy had moxie. That guy had confidence. But you know what? It's that moxie, that level of confidence that had him in this game. That's the type of mentality you want your quarterback to have. I know a lot of people were wanting to watch a blowout. I found this game crazy entertaining. If we lost, maybe I would have felt a little worse, but still, I like that our old DC. Yeah. I mean, I think that's why we have so much grief in this chat room, right? That's why we have this therapy session, because we all predicted, I think I had 34-10 or 37-10. We all predicted the spread was 22. We all wanted to just put our foot on the gas and just put Ryan Walters out of his misery. And that's why people are upset, which I get. Sante says 14 likes is disrespectful to our Sonny. Thank you, Sante. I can't see how many likes we're at, but yes, please. If it's just 14, we've had like 70 plus people in here. Guys, it costs you guys nothing. And trust me, it throws this show out in the algorithm of other Illini fans, other college football fans. And, I never ask for any, I'm grateful for super chats or you joining the SUBTEXT group, but I never ask for that stuff. It's not about that. I'm just here because of your guys' free support that you offer. Thank you. Caden, hyperextended fee out for a while. Again, not ideal, but with the way Josh McCray played today, I mean, Josh McCray and Valentine might actually, and maybe this is a segment for a later episode, Josh McCray and Khalil Valentine might actually be better suited for this offensive line, this lack of offensive line that we have right now. Tell me if you agree with that. Is that a hot take? Malcolm says Ryan Walters looked like he was calling them. He did a great job. No doubt about it. I kind of expected a close game today because a lot of teams have that one team that is their kryptonite. Ours is Purdue. Yeah, I mean, again, my phone messages from the other colleges in the Locked On network were all texting me. And I just kept saying, man, it's something about this Purdue team. We just struggle. A win is a win. A win is a win. I got to wrap this up soon just because I can't go too long. Follow me at IlliniCast. I might jump live on that very shortly later on today, or I'll be back tomorrow. Has Lockery broke a single tackle? I don't know. He looks bad, man. I don't know. At this point, to me, he'd be third or fourth into depth chart. I'd rather bring Jordan Anderson in at this point. The kid has no vision. Altmaier needs to hold on to the ball better. He runs with the ball. No one dove on the ball. They expected an onside kick, just totally blew it. Yeah, there's going to be conversations happening in that locker room for sure. Refs were consistently bad for both teams. Makes it hard to play when the rules are not really enforced. I agree. Lafrey has to show up in the next few weeks. McCray can't do it alone. Yeah, but again, maybe I'm being a little too optimistic here, but I like the idea of Khalil Valentine getting more run behind this offensive line, because I think he's the one guy who, and he had that play today. I don't know if it was his first carry or second carry. I got to rewatch, where he was going in one direction, saw that there was nothing there, and he cut right back. I think he only gained a couple plays from it, or a couple yards, but I don't know which other running back in that room is capable of doing that. Caden Fagan is the best running back we have, but you know what? He runs to a spot, and if that hole isn't there, he goes down. If he gets beyond that first level, he may score a touchdown because he's impossible to bring down. But the way this offensive line is built, he can't ever, so rarely does he get to that second level. 4-star Cam Thomas was at the game. There was a lot of recruits. They sold out the recruiting section. So hopefully, I wasn't there. I don't know if any of you guys were there. I hope the atmosphere was hot. I sense that it probably wasn't. There was a lot of uneasiness, especially with that second half. Did Kansas lose a key lineman in the aisle? I don't know. Jason says, Sunny, again, appreciate you covering regardless of outcome. Jason, this was a struggle. I'm telling you, I was sitting there on that couch. I'm like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to come on? But I would have, because, again, I do this every single day. Was Xavier Scott injured? I don't know. I got to look into that. It's hard because on the TV, you can just barely tell, right? Purdue players saved Walter's job today. Brown saved Walter's job today. Would you start Brown next Friday against Oregon? If you have a choice between a completely healthy Hudson Card or Brown, who do you start? I think I'd just go with Brown. Valentine can't block it. Lafrey has no vision, elusiveness, ability to break tackles. I hope McCray holds up. Yeah, I mean, Valentine definitely can't block right now. I agree with you. I see it more as a change of pace. He and Strain got hurt. Dan says, I think he's talking about Xavier Scott. Well, that's not ideal. The Purdue staff knew every single play call. I hope that's not the case for the second straight year. I've watched Illinois since the last season. Miller, winning games like this is what matters. Hopefully they didn't lose the top 25 standing, but I doubt it. How about playing Valentine, the freshman, a little more? He has shown some ability in previous games. I agree with you, Donald. I really think he has a chance. Zard, yeah, you're right. He does blow some blocks. But I think he's got a role on this team. I'm late to this, but Henry's not a defensive coordinator in the Big Ten. This is horrible, and what in the hell happened in the first half to the second? All right. I wish for 4 more stinkers like exactly, Archer. I wish for 5 more stinkers like that, and we finish 10-2. Bring it. All right. Extremely disappointed in Illinois. We won, but we didn't win. Honestly, we won. There's 5-1. There's no 5-1 and an asterisk. It's 5-1, and that's all that matters. We're 1 game away from achieving bowl game status. This team now has a chance. A lot of people thought I was crazy because I had us at 7-5 in my prediction episode, and people were saying I was way too optimistic. I may have undershot it. You're going against someone that knows everything about you. What did you expect? Number 13, Kurt Kittner, absolutely. ILLINI. The last fumble by Altmaier that was negated because his knee was down would have been the game and a Cotter break. Yeah, I think we're lucky that it was called a not fumble. I think if it was called a fumble, it would have either way the call would have been confirmed. Let me put it that way. I've been watching. Okay, you win. I've been watching Illinois football since 1980. All right, so that's actually a couple years before I was born. Is it 15, Kurt Kittner? INI. They might lose spots in the standings after this mess at home. I don't think so, Jason. But I think whether we deserve not to, or we deserve to, or not to, I think the idea of a top 20 matchup is going to be attractive to those TV networks. And let's be honest, that's what matters. I told you to stop talking blowout win in your earlier video. Purdue has our number. Shut up about playoff talk 1 game at a time. You're right. But you know what? It is 1 game at a time. You know, it's not college playoff. I'm not sitting here saying I think we can make the college football playoffs. Obviously, I've been very clear that I don't necessarily think that. But I don't want Illinois fans who, for the most part, let's be honest, we're pretty fickle to give up on that hope. The opportunity is there. Go for it. We're different from what we used to be. You know how I know that? Today, we would have lost this game. But I appreciate your feedback, Daddy Lee McGee. This was a terrible win. Purdue is going to get beat by 60 to Oregon next week. I don't care. That doesn't matter. There's no transitive properties when it comes to victories. 5-1 is 5-1. Was at the game with my father, happy to escape with the W. Exactly. I think Illini is on the right track. Defense a little weak. Breathe team is more exciting than I've seen in a long time. Exactly. Have a good night. Czar, appreciate you watching. All right, let's Illinois is definitely dropping out. I don't see it. Let's see. Anything else that I need to? No more super chats, which I'll get to. By the way, super chats the guarantee only way I can for sure have you up there. Hot take. McCray Valentine is better than Fagan Lawford. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. You might have said that before I said that, Sante, but yeah, or before I saw that. Yeah, I completely agree. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. Appreciate you guys. If you're here watching this for the first time, again, hit that like button and subscribe button. If you want me to, I can absolutely have another. I'll do another episode tomorrow. I might do another episode tonight. I just got to keep this short time-wise. Lockdown likes it a little shorter. I had a lot of fun today. I was stressed out today. I aged a little bit today, and I'm wearing this hat, but I'm sure there's a couple extra white hairs. But you know what? A victory is a victory is a victory. Let's celebrate this. Go enjoy. Go grab a beer. Go grab a drink. Put on that Ohio State-Oregon game. I'll catch you guys here on Sunday. And we'll just let's sit back, relax, and enjoy. 5-1 is 5-1. Boys. I love you guys. Bye-bye. See you guys next Sunday.